Okay, welcome to week 8. This is going to be a summary of what's expected for week 8 in terms of the final project. And the final project will be a culmination of efforts that we've covered throughout the course in previous weeks. The reading is chapter 16, and it covers the use of jQuery mobile documentation. And the elements are exercise 16-1 and 16-2. Now, 16-1, you're basically going to this website, jQueryMobile.com, and familiarizing yourself, selecting the demo link up here, which brings you all of this documentation you see here. Latest stable version is 1.4.5 demos, so you want to download that, go through the introduction, as well as API documentation, and familiarize yourself with a lot of the HTML code, CSS framework, as well as reviewing the list view widget, and all of the documentation that's associated with list view. Trying to shape this so that everybody so you can see it. So know that we covered stuff that we could select and sort. And under this list view, we have elements that we can change from an unordered to ordered listing. Okay, so in addition to reviewing from list view right here, we also want to review things that are linked. Remember, we're jQuery mobile. Go over to grids. You want to familiarize yourself with all of the CSS framework category information. I can't get everything in this window, but it should give you, once you're there, you can see all the information. So now going back to the main page, finishing up the review components of jQuery Mobile, we click on API documentation, and there is a reference link right here we click on. This is on the left sidebar. Click on data attributes, review those, and review all of the elements, including the input-based buttons and button elements, some that don't correspond to a specific data role. But familiarize yourself with all of these, especially ones that are like this one, collapsible. Collapsible will be one you'll use in the next exercise, 16-2. Dialog is one we've used in previous weeks, as well as enhancement, link, and we just review list view and the list view items as well. So go through this, familiarize yourself with all of the documentation under grids, list view, and API documentation. You'll find that a lot of these we've covered in previous weeks. There's probably some that we haven't covered because there's been changes to the jQuery mobile since the book has come out and since a lot of this content has been posted. But some of these should look familiar, especially ones like I said, collapsible button and so on. This will help prep for 16-2 and experimenting with the mobile website, where you're going to test the mobile website of VectorCore. And Vecta is one of you saw in some of the slides and other lecture videos that I gave earlier in previous weeks, where you were reviewing certain content relating to About Us, Contact Us, and several other links where we can modify code, including text boxes, reshaping certain text boxes, as well as images. So review these. Make sure you download all of the content and become familiar with this site. The jQuery exercises for chapter 16 should be in the week 8 folder, so you can download that code. You'll want to go through all of the HTML coding and become familiar with it as you perform the rest of the project in 16-2. Briefly summarize what you'll be doing in 16-2 is experiment with the mobile website. You'll download the jQuery exercises of chapter 16 VectorCore to a local directory on your machine. You'll then open the HTML page in that particular folder, reviewing all the files there, including source code. You'll then open the page, testing it, using the navigation, clicking on all the links, becoming familiar, using the back button as needed, clicking on solutions to display the information of each individual solution, as well as reviewing the About Us buttons on the nav bar, as well as the About Us page. Click on the Contact Us button on the Home, Solutions, and About Us, and then actually complete a form, and then Submit button to see what happens. The information you put can be just basically test info that's in the box. It could be a John Doe name or contact info. It doesn't have to be anything real, but just something that you can submit to see the reaction in the processing of the code. After which, you'll change the switch on the Contact Us page with 2 radio buttons. The directions you'll need to use as a resource, steps 4 and 5, are covering the change switch for Contact Us page to 2 radio buttons. After you reviewed that, replace the switch and change the code, retest to notice the differences as you've made those changes. The last part is changing the solutions page so it uses a collapsible content blocks. I showed you earlier in the jQuery mobile site the collapsible and collapsible set items that will look familiar with this part 3. Steps 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 in your final project will be the change solutions page using the collapsible content blocks. You'll be changing LI elements in the list view with div elements, div, that have a data role attribute set to collapsible. You'll delete the A element from the div elements that were just added, but leaving the content. Then move the img element inside the h3 element before the text that the element contains. Now test this web page and see how it works. When you click on the content blocks, the paragraph for that block should actually be displayed. But note, you can display all 3 of the content blocks at once. Note further that although the formatting for the headings can be improved, they should be okay for now. In step 9, replace the P element in each content block with the H3 and UL elements from the page for the associated solution. Now, when you click on one of the content blocks, all of the text that was previously included on that separate page should now be displayed. In step 10, notice that each content block now starts with 2 H3 elements. Change the first H3 element in each block to an H2 element and then retest the page again. Because jQuery Mobile always styles the headers in the same way, their appearance won't change despite the H3 modification. You can perform other changes to this code to review the modifications as items you learned in previous weeks. Once you're done, take screenshots of these 3 primary steps in downloading, reviewing the HTML code, changing the switch, and then changing the solutions page, and then zip all that information up, submit it to your Blackboard assignment box for grading. There's one other assignment, reviewing jQuery jobs, understanding the potential career opportunities for jQuery jobs out there. Please review those, as well as understanding browser compatibility in the lecture, and also some of the content relating to the jQuery use across other browsers and compatibility concerns. I would also review testing methods that are incorporated into this book. Appendix B and Appendix A has information on browser compatibility and testing. Review these as needed. Congratulations on getting to the end of the course. Best of luck going forward.